Hi there. This is Barry Selby once again. It's my daily Facebook Live. Whoops, camera's a bit droopy. Let's straighten it up just a little bit. Something like that. This is my ongoing series of messages from the masculine to inspire the feminine heart. This is number 73 in an ongoing series, and today's one is going to be based on the news about Charlottesville. Basically, because I've been feeling there was a need to talk about this, and not from a place of rage reaction, although that's been coming up a lot for people, including myself. But what I'm feeling is a need to speak about this from the conversation I've been having for the last 72 broadcasts. So if you watch them, great, and you understand where I'm coming from. If you haven't, bear with me, because this is a perspective, not the answer, not the right answer. It's just my feelings about a deeper perspective on this conversation, because what's in the media and the news is very much a right-wrong and a perspective I don't particularly agree with, but I'll speak to it from the masculine feminine choices, and it's going to sound weird to say it that way, but I think what's coming through, and I don't know what I'm going to say yet, will speak to this and express a view about Charlottesville and the deeper problems that maybe this can help with. I'm not looking to be a mediator or a peacemaker or politician. I'm just speaking in my mind about this feeling, and hopefully this might resonate for you. This is part of my ongoing series of talks, and this is actually the 21st day of a 21-day challenge I've been doing on Facebook Lives. But today's one may be the not darkest, deepest one I was talking about. And this is number 73 in the series. But I'm putting it in the same heading because I feel there's a point of view about polarity, about developed masculine that's not being talked about in the news. So, let's talk, shall we? What happened in Charlottesville is extreme. It was a violation, all these different things, and I don't want to get into the right-wrong part of that, but I want to speak to the fact that it is another, not catalyst, but another result of catalyst. There's a deep rift in our culture in this country, and yes, I'm English, not American, also raised Jewish, so I have a certain investment in this thing because there's a lot of anti-Semitism that happened in this thing as well. So I'm attempting to stay centered in the middle of the road, as it were, and add to the conversation, because there's a lot that's upsetting people. Now, I live on the West Coast in Los Angeles, which is a bit of a more progressive community, in California, which is more of a blue state, blah, blah, blah. But I'm speaking from my own heart. My frustration, it's not even frustration, my observation of what's been happening is that the anger and the upset and the againstness, the arguments going on, is all reactionary, based upon desires for control, a feeling of dispossession, being dispossessed, and a lack of willingness to look inside. And this is going to be somewhat globally assumptive, I know, because I'm not speaking to any individuals here. I'm talking about what I sense as an overall picture. And bear with me, because I'm letting this thing up to percolate and articulate, because I don't have a set speech or bullet points to tell you. I'm just feeling what's coming up for me to speak about. And part of it's sadness. That I'm realizing now more than anything else, there's a weight I'm feeling of sadness for the way people treat each other. Now, this could be a worldwide conversation, I know, but in the point of view of what happened in Charlottesville, the lack of understanding, the lack of accommodation, the lack of listening is painful to witness. And I'm feeling this wave of sadness come through that I didn't expect, but I sense that it's about the feeling that we could do so much better on both sides of the equation, both sides of the conversation, because the fact that we have sides is the issue, is that we're not being together, we're not in collaboration, we're not the United States of America. We're being in the divisive states, divisive groups within America, which could be a whole other conversation. So, and nice to have you in my broadcast, by the way. I'm letting this run through what's coming through me, so if you have any questions or comments, please post them. I'm going to comment them here. I may do it afterwards when I finish broadcasting. From the conversations, from the broadcast I've done last week about the evolved masculine, the evolved feminine, part of that conversation is that we, as when we're growing and evolving, or developing or becoming more mature in our masculine and feminine polarity is we take more ownership, meaning that we are more accountable and responsible for what we say and what we do, and also what we don't say and don't do. Because a lot of times it's the absence of action that can be the cause of some other actions. What I saw happen in Charlottesville was not any of that. It was judgment, blame, againstness. A lot of people following a vitriolic and upset leader or an inciter that didn't help anything. So I guess I'm speaking to what we do going forward. Not a solution necessarily, but a perspective on what we can do as mature adults, if we choose to be mature adults, because it's choice. So there's a feeling I want to implore people to get this, and I understand if it doesn't land, doesn't vibrate. It's not. This is my getting off my chest in a way, but also speaking to this point of view about being honest. You know, I was at church this morning, and there's a fine line between spiritual truth and spiritual bypass, or as someone calls it, spiritual saran wrap, where we can say it's all good, it's all God, it's all working out. Yes, and how do we act on a human level? How do we interact? How do we deal with other people who we don't agree with? Let's put it that way, because this explosion, this event in Charlottesville, is really a reminder to us about where we have discord with other people, where we don't see eye to eye, where we don't even take time to accommodate and listen to another person's point of view. They're different from ours, because that's really the simplest breakdown of what happened there. There were two large groups of people that didn't want to listen to each other. In fact, were incited and excited because of the opposition. It gave them fuel to be upset, which is not what I would call person. I mean, okay, let me just say sidebar. Growing up in England, at football matches, yes, in England it's called football, not soccer, we had serious riots over two opposing teams on a playing field. Not political views, not democratic values, about two different coloured jerseys on teams playing football. So it's in our DNA in a way to have this desire to clash and conflict, and I'm hoping we're starting to grow beyond it. I feel in the work I'm doing, yes, I'm owning this one and taking it personally, that we have the ability to raise the conversation, to raise the bar, to be accountable to ourselves, to the planet, to our spiritual values. I mean, the biggest thing that maybe doesn't surprise me, but I do feel it, is there's a large population of people who are fighting against each other who believe they're Christian, yet they don't follow Christian values, which is like mind-blowing. Like, you know, hello. If you subscribe to a value system that puts love above hate, that puts inclusion above separation, that puts respect above disrespect, love above hate, then if you have any of those negative things in your life, how can they go together? It's a dichotomy. You can either have one or the other, not both. So if you have values in your upbringing, religious, spiritual, whatever you call it, that's about love, how do you own your own honesty and integrity by being loving in places where you don't feel like loving? How can you be respectful of somebody else's perspective that is vehemently against yours? Now, if someone's threatening you violently, physically, emotionally, verbally, any of that stuff, you have the absolute right to leave, to take care of yourself, but to engage and to jump in the pit with them. You know, the definition of empathy. Empathy and sympathy are different, by the way. And the definition of empathy is that someone falls down a hole, you lower a rope to help them climb out. The definition of sympathy is somebody falls down a hole, you throw a rope in and jump in after them. It doesn't work. So being sympathetic to what happened isn't working. Being empathetic or empathic, depending where you come from, where you call it, is the ideal. And the question is, how do you respond to that? How do you act according to that? How do we respond from an empathic place for what happened in a way that is course corrective or course changing away from what we ended up with. Because, to be blunt, from what I've observed, from witnessed, from what I see in the culture and on social media and the news, yes, I'm using those sources, what happened in Charlottesville wasn't the first, obviously, and may not be the last incident of such violent clash of two different ideas. That's what it really is. It's a conflict between two different views that don't fit together. And it's a form of civil war. It's a form of civil war. Because the Civil War in America was fought over two clashing values that didn't go together. This is pockets of the same thing. And of course, the Charlottesville thing was incited because of a alt-right group wanting to get together because they were taking down one of the statues of General Lee as they're slowly removing the signs of the Confederacy out of the South. That's kind of what the whole thing was started from what I've heard. Again, perspective. I don't say it's the truth, but it's what I've heard. But it percolated and it escalated. And the problem is what happens is nobody wins, and nobody was right in this situation. The alt-right, the alt-left, or what do you call it, or those people who are for supremacists and those against it, none of them are right. They're opposites. So the question is, how do we become to a place of inclusion and create dialogue? I'm not giving you answers here that I think of. I'm just giving you more questions. Is how can we act more consciously? And I don't say necessarily mature, because maturity is a relative term in this context, but there's a distinct frustration that we're still dealing with this. You know, when Barack Obama was elected, there was this presumption on some people that racism was gone. I didn't believe it. I got a lot of black friends, and I feel that for them, that when he was elected, it was a sign of possibility, the same as if Hillary Clinton had been elected as president. And I'm not getting into politics. I'm talking about if a woman had been elected as president, it wouldn't have changed the way that women are treated in this country still. It's unfortunate. But that just simply indicates what's available at certain levels of office, in a way. And since the pendulum swung the other way, with having someone in the office now who is extremely white, macho male, it brings forth that in the culture, because it was always there. One of the hopes I have, that I've talked about for a while, one of my teachers said this once, is that as we go towards more conscious living, conscious community, conscious population over millennia, what happens is the more people wake up, the more people are bringing in the light, the less room there is for the darkness, and so it concentrates. And so, like, to use a bad analogy, like a zit where all the toxicity comes together in one spot, it gets to erupt and burst. That's what happened in Charlottesville to a degree. I'm not saying that we are complete with this, but I'm suggesting that some of these violent outbreaks aren't a trend towards darkness, but a reduction in what's available for darkness to express through. There's a possibility. That's giving me some pause for thought now too. Think about that. So, and thank you for sharing this out, by the way, Jennifer. I'm realizing this is the start of a bigger conversation, but I want to do a Facebook Live about it because it's been on my mind, and listening to the message at church this morning, there were some glimpses in that I saw, and also what I've been downloading. And it's part of my intention with all my Facebook Lives to wake up and inspire people, men and women, to live authentically to their nature, being the masculine and feminine, the developed or the evolved masculine and the evolved feminine, as I spoke about last week, comma. This was on front and center for me. So I can feel the emotions in me, and I'm trusting that they're stirring things for you. If you're totally oblivious to what happened in Charlottesville, I fear for your humanity. Hopefully this event has stirred something in you, ideally to question your values and to consider how you'll step forward in the world. I'm considering mine. That's one reason I'm doing Facebook Lives, because it's a way for me to share my perspective, and yes, it's all my stuff. It's my Facebook Live, it's on my page, so I can do what I want. But I hopefully can contribute to the conversation in a positive way. There's room for this. And to have dialogue between opposites, left and right wing, positive, whatever, I don't want to get into the labeling because that separates. The question is, how do we become to a place of inclusion and of understanding, so that we can, one, get below the and there's the other part of the way, when we get below the surface demands and requirements that people are announcing, which aren't the real truth, because the reality is it's not. As much as I hate this, I mean, I'm saying this, the hate mongers that are saying, you know, Jews out, blacks out, Islam out, everyone's out, just only the white people. First of all, guys, you're the occupiers, because you weren't here first either. That's a whole other conversation. But the recognition of that, we have a deeper thing going on. Is it about control? Is it about feeling trapped? Is it about feeling hard done by? Because a lot of 9 times out of 10, it ties to something deeper than what's on the surface. So my question as your homework, giving homework on this one, is where in your life are you running a routine, a repeat pattern, or repeat statements that are not really the truth? They're just what you use as your go-tos because they're easy. So my challenge to you is to go deeper. What's really driving that? Is it a fear of losing control? Is it a feeling of not being safe? Is it a feeling of not being loved? What is it for you? Yeah, that's the homework. I'm sorry, I'm still just circling around if there's anything else I want to talk about. That's really the bottom line in my moment. I wanted to speak about it and get this out, so I feel better. Hopefully you do too. Make peace with those differences inside of you and those people you have differences with outside. Find a way to reach across. Not to suck up to them, not to say you're right, not to ignore that, but to invite a deeper conversation. Because the transgressions of my neighbor don't excuse transgressions I do against them. That sounds like a biblical quote. I have no idea if it is or not, but that's the feeling I have. And I want to shift that myself, and I hope you do too. Okay, I feel better now. Thanks for watching, by the way. If you're watching live, thanks for sharing it out. This might evoke a lot of questions, it might not. If you do have questions, please put them below. I'll answer them later on once I sign off. And the comments too. This is maybe the start of a dialogue, I don't know. But it's a part of my ongoing series. I'm doing daily Facebook Lives. Who I am, by the way, just in case I didn't say at the beginning. My name is Barry Selby. I am a love and relationship coach, not a politician. Not a leader in that sense. But I do stand for, well, thank you, Jennifer, for saying that. For those watching on other platforms, this is actually Facebook Live. It's going to be on YouTube. So just saying is inspiring her to reach out to her birth mother. If I helped you with that, yeah, she's a right-wing fundamentalist. Well, the thing is, she's driven by something deeper that maybe you can meet her on. So Jennifer, I hold you in prayer, hold you in love for that. That is big. And if my Facebook Live just did that, helped you, I'm humbled and grateful. So, sorry, I'm just reeling from that. So again, my name is Barry Selby. This is my daily Facebook Live, number 73 in the series. It's actually, you're very welcome. I'm doing these conversations every day. They've been mostly about masculine and feminine leadership, about relationship, about feminine wholeness and strength, about masculine ownership, about the way relationships work and don't work, about romance, all these other things. And today was different. But if you want to watch my previous ones that are all about that stuff, if you go to my website, barryselby.com, I have a video blog page which has all of the Facebook Live stored there as YouTube videos. If you're on my business page, they're also there if you want to comment on the Facebook Lives. Go to Barry Selby business page, which is basically barryselby.author on Facebook. And please share this out. And if you know anybody who should see this, who might want to get value from this, please share it with them. I appreciate it. And even though my 21-day Facebook Live challenge ends today, I'm still going. I'm probably going to 100, if not more. In fact, my friend who's leading this 21-day challenge just said today she's committed to 365. I'm not saying yes yet, but I'm at least going to go to 100. So thanks for watching. If you need support and if you need counsel, if you want guidance, please message me over social media. Reach out. I'm here to help you. And if you're just joining this broadcast, by the way, I'm just wrapping it up. It was a download, an event, and a release. So please go back and watch from the beginning. I'm signing off because I've got a friend's birthday party to go to. Just changing the energy. So thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. And as always, take care of yourselves. You're needed. I'm needed. We are needed on this planet. All right. Take care of yourselves. I'll be back again tomorrow. I'll see you later. Bye.